All right, so back in about 2020, 2021 timeframe, I did a whole bunch of these rather large size line art drawings with the intention of coming back and finally coloring them in or painting or doing some kind of color exercise on them. And I'm finally getting around to doing some of that right here and now. I put them away for a couple years now and dusted them off. And we're going to see what comes out of it. And I'm just going to take it from the top. And I really thought I was just going to abandon these things and leave them as they were in the giant giant sketch pad, but there's always like a loyalty or a something that pulls me back to trying to finish these old pictures. I don't want to abandon them completely. I feel I have an obligation to them of some kind. I can't quite explain it, but I'm roughing out the colors here and just doing some flats, messing around because I have no idea how this is going to work out. So really, I'm just having fun, laying down some flats, comic book style, and I'm going to see if I can get some more detail out of it, more photorealism. I'm not so good at photorealism, but that's where I'm headed. That's what I'm thinking. That's where my mind's at. And I am doing this on a refurbed Wacom Studio Pro. Trying to find some old technology, or at least not old, but maybe recently outdated. So I got it for a fraction of what the original cost, or what it cost brand new. And I love it. A lot of people had gripes with it, saying it was too big or it got too hot. I guess it kind of does get hot, but nothing you can't. I mean, it's not like you're cooking eggs and holding on to it at the same time. So it's bearable, I guess. And it's kind of big. It's almost like a full-size laptop without the clamshell, or it doesn't open up. But I find it extremely cool for painting on. I think I'd like to try to get some more old tech like that, see if I can find some refurbed, recently old stuff, maybe running Windows 10 still. Maybe before they make you put your ID in all those operating systems and stuff like that. Alright. There we go. And I'm having a hard time trying to decide where I want that light to come from. I was messing around with that shadow in the bay, that hangar bay, and I like the way it is sort of dramatic, but trying to understand how that would point to a source of light was a little goofy. So I have it almost coming directly from the side over here when it maybe is coming from the side and the front behind the viewer. But whatever. I won't say nothing if you don't. Alright, and then I had these line art pictures are they're a lot of fun to do. I don't know what got me in the groove to that. I think oh my god, what am I doing here? I think I got off onto a little tangent. I probably won't bother editing that out at this point. But I was saying I did a whole bunch of these. I think I was inspired by like looking at developmental sketches for Transformers and stuff, and you probably heard me say it before. I just like looking at that dizzying amount of line art that pops out of some of that stuff when you're looking at those concept sketches and all the detail that goes into it. All that work. Okay, so the cylinder is kind of goofy, this wreckage. So that's a bay full of debris, and I guess you got these astronauts just kind of floating through it or exploring it, and like the two in the back have magnetic boots, so they're adhered to the deck plate, and that guy's floating around checking stuff out. I don't know, but I think the light would kind of be in front of us or behind us and to the side, so maybe that whole tube would be in shadow, or a majority of it you just get the highlights from the front and the back. And that probably isn't completely realistic, I guess, in terms of how the light would shine, but I'm trying to overwrite narrative impact with realism insofar as that goes, I guess. And here is another little tangent I guess I went off on. Oh, I know what this is. Yeah, sometimes I get these visuals and I just gotta get them out of my skull before they vanish. And of course it's some kind of goofy sci-fi scene. Some giant robot orbiting a planet. Or something surreal and grim, maybe. Come on, goofball. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled program. It's back to the damaged space bay. So we have some vehicles in the background. I don't know how they got there. You can use your own imagination. It's part of the mystery and wonder of space sci-fi art. And for the most part, I'm really blasting this out as fast as I can. Only because I'm very limited on time in the real world, and I didn't have much confidence that this thing was going to go anywhere. So I was investing that much effort into it, and time and carefulness. Then I started having fun after a while, like it always goes. And it's all banged up and wrecked, and those panels would kind of, maybe I should have worked a little harder on it. Each one would have its own unique specular value to it, or shine, giving it more of a paneled look. But I cheated and lazed out and just put a harsh dark outline around it, or inked it almost, right? I think I kind of like it without all that debris floating in there. Maybe the debris just kind of busies it up too much. Some random jetpacks, or whatever. Tubes, missiles. Kind of have the space shuttle tank orange or red, that rusted color oxide look that the space shuttle tank had. We got two of them side by side, maybe. Glued together. Oh no, it's the pod racers from Empire Strikes Back. That's what that is. Alright. Trying to go with that old fishbowl helmet. I like that fishbowl helmet. You get a full view of the face and expose all the head. But, there's a time and a place for a very intricate and closed off helmet, which I like as well. But there's that sort of retro feel for that fishbowl helmet gives, maybe with a more contemporary looking spacesuit. Is that a few more floating pieces of garbage? I think we're getting there. And then towards the end, I start playing around with the tone and the color correction. And I think that's something I could just do forever, because you can just riff with the color and emphasizing red, blue, or green to get different effects. And I kind of finalized it with a yellowish look, and it really kind of looks like something you would see on the page of a pulp with the yellowy pulp paper. Kind of looks cool, at least on the computer. Maybe not translate onto a print, because I've been trying to print all this stuff out on some high quality gloss. And that is tough, because what you see on the screen is definitely not what you get on the printer. You gotta really fart around with those the settings, get something that's a little closer. Even messing with the color profiles for Epson and whatnot, it's tough, man. I've never gotten it 100% there. Close, but not quite. Maybe try some of. I wonder if any an e-ink, one of those e-ink monitors, or if they have an e-ink tablet, that might be something to try to get you closer to the actual. What you see is what you get print out, and there's a side-by-side from the unadulterated tonality, and there's our original line with the final finished product. Anyway, if you stuck around this long, I greatly appreciate it, and I will keep trying to do these things. Thanks for your time. Bye.